2.
Welcome to another edition of the UMO Coaches Show. I'm Ryan Smith, joined today by head men's lacrosse coach Mike Murphy. And Coach, this is the first time we've talked to you this year. Obviously, you guys are just starting to, knock the rust off of getting back into the swing of things with the new season. But first, let's kind of touch on last season. You guys had probably one of the most successful years since you've been here starting this program, making it to the first ever NCAA postseason tournament. Just talk about what that meant for you personally and for the team as well, just being able to make it to that caliber in such a short amount of time, because lacrosse has only been here for a few years. What did that mean?
Sure. It really coincided with our first big recruiting class, our senior class. It was a large group, 14 seniors last year, and they really started the program from the ground up and they did it the right way. Hard work, grinding through it day in and day out, and really setting the bar high for seasons to come. We started off our first year at 7-7, and although not a winning record, it's very rare for a new program to have not have a losing season. And from there, we went to 13 wins, tightened up the schedule, made it a lot more difficult, got to 11 wins the following year, and then last year was really the culmination of 4 years of hard work and dedication of our guys. Being able to make it to the NCAA playoffs in just a fourth-year existence is extremely rare.
What was that like for your guys? I mean, obviously you talked about that's what your end goal is. You want to make it to the NCAA tournament, and to make it to that, and you guys had a tough road there. I mean, you play so many games going through the conference tournament just to get there,
right? And
everything's kind of short, compacted. How did you guys as a team prepare for that when you're playing so many games that close?
Well, we really talked about with the senior class about letting them lead by example, and they really didn't let anything faze them or bother them. We were here for a day, and then we're on the road, and then we're on the road again, and then we're on the road again, and it was one of those things where you just have to embrace the process. If the process is going to bother you, then you're not going to be successful on the field. The guys really just let everything roll off their back. There wasn't any issues. If the bus was late or this was going on, no complaints whatsoever. They just realized that we have a mission, and that goal is for 60 minutes of strong lacrosse, and everything leading up to it didn't faze them. And that was something that would really hope the senior class instilled in the younger guys on their team.
Well, let's kind of move into now the new season. You guys have a lot of new faces, and obviously some of your guys now moving into that upperclassman role, to the leadership role, and taking all those responsibilities that they may not have had last season. But just talk about some of the new faces that we'll see this year and what your expectations are out of those guys in those different roles.
Sure. First off would be Will Urban, our goalie. He's a junior this year. Practiced with Coach Price and Rocky Bowman, an All-American goalie for us last year for 2 years. So he understands how to prepare, how to get going, and he did really well in the spot situations we had to put him in last year. So we're excited to have him get a chance to start. We think he definitely will compete for an all-conference position at that, which is great to see. A couple of the new faces as far as freshmen are concerned. Tim Collins, midfielder from England, who's actually on the English U19 national team, is going to come in, play some midfield for us. Connor Parson, a midfielder from Florida, will do very well, I believe, at the midfield line. And then after that, there's a lot of guys kind of grinding and jockeying for position as far as getting starting on. So it's good that there's a lot of good players all fighting, and we should be able to figure out in the next few weeks who's going to rise to the top.
And you guys have actually, which is seldom in this early of the year, you've already played your scrimmage already this season against Methodist. What did you see out of your guys? Obviously, you're switching guys out, putting them in different roles, kind of testing them really in their first in-game experience. What did you see out of your guys that you're looking for in the future, and some stuff you might need to work on?
Yeah, well, first off, Methodist is a well-coached team, and they came up here, they're ready to go. They had their substitution game on point. They were organized, which is always good in a scrimmage. You want to play against a team that is organized, and in fact, they were better at us in certain areas of that. Some of that has to do is, I believe Methodist is in the same situation we were last year, where they have a great senior class, guys that have just been there for their first 4 years, and then we're throwing guys in, young guys in, and they're trying to figure out the college game. And it was really a situation where we kind of went almost equal playing time for most players. So freshmen were playing as much as seniors, or starters were playing as much as backups, and we really wanted to give guys the opportunity to play themselves on the field. And unfortunately, in that situation, you're going to have where guys play themselves off the field. It works both ways. So if we can give them the opportunity to get out there and play against another team as organized as Methodist was, it allows Coach Price and myself to really sit down and analyze, okay, who's good in the crunch, who's thinking well on their feet, and move forward from that.
You talk about some of the analyzing that you and Coach Dylan Price do. Something that's new this year and kind of amazing. You guys have a brand new facility, brand new complex, all turf field, something you guys have been fighting for, and the fundraising, all of the stuff that it goes into a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. But playing wise, to switch gears from playing from an all grass complex to an all turf complex, what kind of difficulties, or I guess in the opposite of that, the nice things that have come out of that, switching a team from one field to another?
Sure, and it's twofold. It's good. It's really good in most areas. That small percentage, it's not as good. The last 2 years with all the rain and being confined on a small grass field, it gets turned into dirt and mud pretty quick. Yeah. And you get that characteristic of your team that, okay, we can get in the dirt, we can get in the mud, and it's not going to bother us wherever we go. So that aspect, we want to still keep that grass field and put our guys through the ringer on that occasionally. But with the turf, it's just really good to go out there and get your space, get your lines right all the time, have the offense being able to run in a wide space, not have to worry about, okay, are we inside today, are we outside, can we go on half field, can we go on a quarter field? We know that we're going to go out there and the turf's going to be there. Just balancing out our schedule with the other teams that use the facility haven't really been an issue as of yet. So we kind of know every day that we're going to be able to get out there and we're not juggling practice at the last second based on weather conditions.
And you guys obviously always put together a very tough schedule, and it kind of seems to be, again, your motto of we're going to try to play the toughest teams that we can, because lacrosse is an emerging sport, and there's not those same levels of competition as far as regionals and national championships go. The progression's not the same, so you guys kind of have to build your schedule around that. So kind of give us a little bit of a preview of what you're expecting out of the schedule that you guys put together this year.
It's another year of scheduling where at the end of the year, we're either going to make the playoffs or they're not. It's not going to be a situation where a committee can say, well, their schedule's okay, they didn't do it. It's going to be cut and dry going into that day. We're going to know if we're going to make it or we're not. And that's because we schedule some of the best teams in the region. Our conference is extremely successful. Other than us, there's 2 other teams ranked in the top 10 in our conference. We'll travel to Baltimore to play Mercyhurst University this year. I think they're coming in at number 4 in the preseason poll. They made it to the semifinals last year, and we've had a good couple years playing them, real competitive games. We'll travel up to Lake Erie, who was in the playoffs 2 years ago, who's also right in the mix as far as regional teams. Florida Tech, I believe, will be another strong opponent this year. They have a lot of good transfers. Rollins is coming in the poll this year. They're on our schedule. So, if we do what we're capable of doing and win the games that we need to win, we'll make our case to be in the playoffs. And if we don't do it, we won't make the playoffs. And it's as simple as that. Always leave the decision in your own hands, is my opinion.
And you guys, kick off the season on the road. What can we see out of Catawba starting off the year? What do you plan to see out of them? Obviously, we play them every year, so there's not an unknown variable of, we've never seen them. You can kind of rely on scouting reports a little bit. What do you expect to see out of the Indians this year?
I expect them to be an extremely well-coached team. Coach Bork was my coach as a player. I've coached with him in the past, so I know that he always has his guys ready to go, fired up from day one. They're like us in an aspect of real tough blue collar. So we're going to go there and we know it's going to be a tight, hotly contested game. Every time we've been there twice so far. We lost the first time in program history, and the second time we went, it was a 1-goal game decided, I think, in the last minute. So we're expecting it to be another tough competition, and it's a game that, it's good for both of us regionally.
All right, Coach, well, good luck at Catawba. We'll catch up with you.
Exceptional.
For Mike Murphy, I'm Ryan Smith. This has been another edition of the UMO Coaches Show.
At an exceptional value. That's transforming education. The University of Mount Olive, transforming education, transforming lives. Learn more at umo.edu. That's umo.edu.